Horror as a genre really requires a special kind of mind behind it. Go ahead, name any prominent horror creator, you look me in the eye and tell me they're normal. It can't be done. And these people are crazy. They blindfolded me and dropped me alone in the middle of a dark, abandoned Portuguese convent. That is not a sentence I ever thought that I would speak in my life, but here we are, that really actually happened. They equipped me only with a black light and I had to find my way out. There were monsters everywhere and they drew closer the longer I had my light on. I am dumb, but I somehow managed to get out. And it was pretty spooky. I mean, like, are you seeing this? This building is crazy. It's like Portuguese Silent Hill. And it was awesome. The studio invited me and a few others to Portugal to come and check out their game Nightholme firsthand. I got to spend some time at Studio Ellipsis and see how the game is being made and talk with some of the developers. Portugal is really cool and I never thought in a billion years I'd ever get to go there. I consumed my body weight in custard tarts, and even visited a chapel made of human bones. You know, to keep the whole horror theme of the trip going. And genuinely, this was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. You know what else they got going on in Portugal? All of their plastic bottles have these little tabs to keep the cap attached. That's crazy. I got so used to this, I went home and drank some water and I literally almost dropped the cap. Now, needless to say, if there's one thing we as a community love around these parts, it's horror. And the team working on Nightholme certainly shares this passion. They even got some peepo enjoyers in there. So I'd like to tell you about Nightholme, what it is, what it's going to be, and my experience with the people making it. Nightholme is a multiplayer horror hunt game. When playing, you'll take on the role of a Grim Runner. A Grim Runner is a hunter contracted to eliminate monsters called Grim Spawn. Your biggest foe will be the Gloom Fiend, a particularly powerful monster. Race against other Grim Runners through dark alleys and unimaginable horrors to kill the Gloom Fiend and escape. I'm going to show some of the footage from one of the nights I was able to play the game. Please note that this is pre-alpha footage and it does not reflect the final quality. The team was really adamant about showing the game early on in development and bringing in people to give feedback and criticism during this stage. This is actually such a breath of fresh air because a lot of developers like to hide these rough stages of their games. But this is when it's the most crucial to receive feedback. Once a game has a certain amount of progress, it becomes too difficult to make changes and improvements. So A+ to Studio Ellipsis for understanding this. Now, when playing a round of Nightholme, you'll be able to play solo, in pairs, or teams of 3 with up to 12 players per game. Before each mission, you'll choose a character and a nocturne elixir to drink. This elixir will determine your monstrous transformation and abilities. Each elixir provides a different set of skills and talent trees. You'll be able to choose from one of 3. So far anyway, more elixirs, powers, and archetypes will be added to the game. These are just the ones that I got to try. The Vorbeast, a primal horror that allows your body to become the weapon. The Vorbeast crushes and bites, using raw strength to act as a tank. I mostly chose the Vorbeast because I take a lot of damage and fall off of things a lot. Next is the Seer, a witch that operates at a distance, creating fear, disorientation, and confusion with ranged abilities. And last but not least is Nameless, the cosmic horror. Nameless can prowl in the shadows, dematerialize, and is really quite the stealthy little guy that likes to sneak up and tickle you with his tentacles before disappearing again. Creating a team with these archetypes, you will begin the hunt. Now here's actually my favorite part of the game. In the beginning of each round, you will feel small. The monsters around the city are scary and strong. Like these little shits, you gotta watch out for them. They'll lick you and drag you away from your team screaming. You definitely want to see them before they see you. In the beginning of a round, you'll want to stay down low and be a bit stealthy. As you explore, pick up items, and gain experience from killing monsters, you'll start to feel a little bit stronger. As you unlock talents, you'll eventually get better and more monstrous forms available. These forms are incredibly powerful. At this point in the round, you become the monster. The world becomes less threatening, and this is even shown in the audio design. When you're just a new little Grim Runner, fresh to the map, when your breath's still smelling of your mother's milk, the audio is loud, oppressive, and frightening. But when you transform, the horrors fade away and you get this predatory sense, able to hear more clearly, and that's a problem for your enemies. However, being the monster comes at the cost of your sanity, so you'll have to use these forms strategically. The Grim Spawn monsters you'll be hunting to level up can be dealt with in one of 2 ways. Stealthy takedowns or facing them head on. Each monster and each character archetype kind of have a rock, paper, scissors type of role with one another. Certain Nocturne builds are equipped to deal with certain Grim Spawn, but weak to other types. This is where working as a team comes in handy, but cooperation is always optional. The Grim Spawn aren't the only threat around the map. map. The other hunters may ignore the grim spawn and decide to hunt and loot you instead. The world of Nightholme is a hostile place. Around the city are items called Gloom Hearts. If your team collects 4 of them, you can begin summoning the big old boss, the Gloom Fiend. Now, facing the boss is already a perilous fight, but the other hunters will also try to capitalize on your hard work. But if you can manage to take down the Gloom Fiend, you will be heavily rewarded. Defeating a Gloom Fiend gives you access to a rare item called the Terror Seed. This seed is a source of immense power that you can use to upgrade yourself for the next match. Obviously, the beginning of a match in Nightholme is a tough place to be, with very little power and a horrifying and aggressive environment. So, having that Terror Seed as a boost for the next match is very valuable. Nightholme will also be focusing on replayability and fair play. The game is intended to be accessible yet deep, basically a low skill floor with a high skill ceiling. A beginner-friendly tutorial map will help new players learn the game, and Nightholme will reward skill, strategy, and consistent improvement. Matchmaking is intended to be solid with anti-cheat measures on stable servers for smooth matches. A closed beta of Nightholme will be available later this year. There will also be a creator program soon launching, which will offer early access, feedback opportunities, insider updates, and unique rewards and merch for content creators wanting to be part of the community. At the end of the day, Nightholme is a multiplayer horror hunt game. It's PvE, and obviously has gameplay associated with the genre. I'm not normally a very big PvP type gamer. Those types of games are usually a little bit too sweaty for me, but I did genuinely have a lot of fun with Nightholme. There are a lot of different strategies you can try. On the second night I got to play the game, my team and I got a little creative at certain points, just trying different things, and that freedom to go about the round in different ways was genuinely fun. On that night it was us content creator people versus the developers, and we tried to beat them at their own game. We came up with some ways to try to be little rats and steal their stuff, and it was a pretty fun experience. Now, you've been looking at the game's visuals here for a little bit on screen, but I really want to showcase them. The art direction of Nightholme is genuinely super cool. All of the monsters' models have so many little details, and the artists poured a lot of love and passion into the designs. Nightholme has a unique blend of classic-y comic book style fused with cosmic horror and a little bit of biopunk. You never really consciously think about how much work actually goes into a video game when you're playing it. At least, I don't, unless it's for a video anyway. I don't hear a sound and consider, some person made that noise, recorded it, and fit it into the game. Right, a lot of what you perceive when playing a game is kind of subconscious. Being able to go to a studio and not only meet some of the people behind all of this work, but to see it happen in real time is an experience that I'm extremely grateful for. Let me tell you a little bit more in depth exactly what I experienced with the Nightholme team. It started the moment I left the airport in Portugal. Now mind you, I have never been out of the country like this ever in my life. I've never been on a flight even half that long, and I very rarely travel further than the grocery store. So this was a lot for me. I saw Early Bird being held on a sign and got into a van to take me to my hotel. As we drove, it was pointed out to me that the music on the radio was traditional Portuguese music, and then suddenly, static. The music cut out and I heard an ominous message. This message gave me some hints about what awaited me in the hotel room. In the room was a black light and a note. Searching around with the clues from the car radio, I found a code. This code gave me information about the upcoming event at the scary convent that I mentioned previously. The team literally designed a game to be played in real life, essentially. There were puzzles and navigation and even items to find and use throughout the night. It eventually even became multiplayer. Our behavior as players affected the monsters lurking around the area, like leaving our lights on too long or where we hid. In one room, which was an old library, the monsters could be calmed by whistling a little tune so that we could take a card and a key off of them. The actors playing the monsters did a very good job, and it was very scary trying to take items from them. The hallways were super long and super dark, and I could almost always see a monster looking at me from a distance or coming a little bit closer if my light was on. There were knocks on the walls, wailing, howling screeches of monsters, and the whole thing was just genuinely insane. You know what else is insane? They made me an early voodoo doll. It's a little bird with green feathers. Just look at him. It smells good, and this is the coolest thing ever, and it lives on my desk and watches me edit videos now. I'm sure we collectively will not be cursed by this. It's fine. Also, it bears the emblem of the glorious channel logo. But you know what else? Funny story. Originally, this was left at the reception desk for me. Like, they left a spooky note on my door and they were like, oh, there's something waiting for you down at reception. And we asked them about it like 2 or 3 times and they were just like, what the hell are you talking about? There's nothing here for you. Well, it turns out that they accidentally put the wrong room number on the package, so some random person in a random room almost received this, and I can't even imagine what they would have thought if they opened a package that was left for their room number and they just saw that. That would be really, really funny. But I am glad that that didn't happen, because otherwise Evil Early would be lost to the void. I mention all of this about this experience because I really appreciate how passionate this team is about horror. An event like this wouldn't be possible without a genuine, freaky little love of all things scary. The developers love horror games, and we talked about games like Silent Hill and even Overblood together. The team behind Nightholme gives me a lot of hope for the game, and hopefully after hearing about some of my experiences with them, it does for you too. They were all super kind, very thoughtful, and genuinely have a passion not only for horror, but for games in general. While this is the first game being put out by the studio, many of the individuals involved have worked on other games. Now, I typically take an interest mostly in game stories and lore, hence the channel, and the whole world of Nightholme is going to be really interesting to explore. As the game development progresses, lore about the monsters, environments, and characters will be added in. I did get to learn a little bit about the lore, and what I can say is that the team does a great job at using the maps, designs, sound, and monsters to tell some of Nightholme's story. I will definitely be following Nightholme's progress, and I really hope for the best for the project. I can't wait for the beta to come out. It will be great to play the game again. And for those of you that find the game interesting, I can't wait to see you in Nightholme. Veni Vidi Vicious. Come see and be vicious. Step into the horrors of Nightholme. Wishlisted on Steam and join the game's Discord today. Thank you so much to Nightholme for sponsoring and for this whole event. It was great to meet everyone, and this was an incredible experience. You can scan the QR code here or check the links below to wishlist the game. There will also be links to the Nightholme website and Discord server, so if you'd like to follow the game and join the community, please definitely check those out.
Oh my god, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, McDonald's. We've made it to the American Embassy.